everyone, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. Today's topic is that head football coach Sharon Moore, if I'm pronouncing it right, he allowed a snow bunny to take him down. You know, just like women don't use cautionary tales of other people, looks like these men don't either. And part of me wonders if these black men in particular are purposely being taken down. Now, obviously, they don't have to take out their eggplants and put it in any floozy that comes along. They don't have to do that. But I can't believe no white men are not doing this, because we know they are. But it always seems to be black men as being these hypersexual, you know, can't think with anything but the eggplant that's in the limelight. I just don't believe that they're the only ones, but they're the only ones that tend to be, you know, flashed in front of the world as being these sex hungry devils, you know. So let me read this really quick and then I'll get into an opinion. This is from NBC News. And who wrote this? Rohan Nadkarni and Marlene Linthing. I'll leave the article in the description box. Ex-Michigan head football coach in jail hours after firing after an allegation of inappropriate relationship with staff member. Sharon Moore led the Wolverines to a 9-3 record this season, finishing 18th in the final college football playoff rankings. And do you all remember that coach? It was Nia Long's baby daddy who threw his life away over some tail. So hours after the University of Michigan fired Sharon Moore as head football coach, alleging he had an inappropriate relationship with a staff member, he was in jail, according to booking records. Allegedly, he went over to his Trick's house and tried to beat the brakes off of her. Or no, that's not what I read. Let me not make up stuff. He went over there and held a knife to his throat, you know, saying that he was going to take his life. It absolutely boggles my mind how powerful sex is when you really stop to think about it. Men will literally ruin their lives over some easy behind. And then you have whorish women who, back in the day, they used to know their place. Whores have been around since the dawn of time. It's never going away. But the thing is, with whores from years past versus now, again, the whores back then, they knew their place. But today, they want to try to bump the wife, to get into the wife's shoes. They want to be wifed up. They want to be treated like the way a virtuous woman or a traditional woman would be treated. There are two types of women. There used to be two different types of women. It was the long-suffering wife type, and then it was the, you know, the woman where a married man or just men in general could go get his rocks off and then go back to whatever life he had. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just making an observation. Sex has been around since Adam and Eve, and it's going to be around long after we're all gone. And it's going to be more men who are going to ruin their family's lives, ruin his life with his family, and walk away from millions of dollars. Just ruin over some tail. Earlier Wednesday, Athletic Director Ward Manuel announced in a statement that Moore has been terminated with cause, effective immediately. Following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior, the statement continued. To me, it is so ridiculous to throw your life away over some punani. And especially if it's something written in your contract not to mess with staff members, and you go ahead and do it anyway. And, you know, I just think that it's pitiful. This man has a wife, I think 3 children, and now their lives are all about to be disrupted. And I get that, you know, and there's so many women who want these types of men because they think that they're going to live in a lap of luxury or whatever. But a lot of these men, particularly if they don't have willpower, there are going to be women literally throwing themselves on these men. And some of you might be too young to remember, but there was a case years ago of Jimmy Baker. And I believe he was set up by Jessica Hahn. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I was a teenager. You know, I didn't know all about, you know, how sex was or whatever. I mean, obviously I knew about it, but I just wasn't out there doing it. And there was somebody who wanted to take Jimmy Baker down, from what I remember. So they sent this Jessica Hahn in and set him up in a hotel room. Now, I can't remember if she claimed that he raped her or if it was consensual. But my whole point is, it's just mighty suspicious to me. Shannon Sharpe, you got this man. You have Nia Long's man, ex-man. And it was another black man that was allegedly taken down by Snow Bunny. And it doesn't matter the woman's color. She could be black, you know. And I just have a problem with cheaters, adulterers. I just think that you have to be a low-down, foul human being. This man knew he had a wife. And that trollop also knew he had a wife. And one thing I'm not going to do, which I see a lot online, is take up for that woman. Because you find a lot of women who would take up for these women. Like, why don't y'all come for these men? He's a whole hound dog. If this is all true, we don't know, you know. But I just think that it's unfortunate. And even on my job, there has been men who have lost their job over some behind. So, you know, I don't know how I really want to word it, but women don't know how powerful we are. I mean, but so many women choose to use it for evil. You know, the fact that these men, these high-profile men are being taken down by a coochie catch, a snatch, a pussy. You know, it's just, and excuse my language, but that's all. I just wanted to, you know, chime in on this. Tell me what you think about these men allowing loose women to just take them down. And I'll talk to you later.